We're still about a year away from the Rings of Power Season 2, yet what we've been seeing over the past couple of weeks is the ramping up of defense for this show, mainly from the actors. Last week it was Ismael Cruz Cordova claiming that Amazon had hired an on-set therapist to deal with the racist backlash. And this week we have Rings of Power star Sophia Nomvet, the biggest narcissist on the show, on fighting racist backlash. She says, my place in this show is not just a celebration. I'm not quite sure what there is to celebrate, considering only 37% of viewers actually finished Amazon's The Rings of Power. So I don't know what you're celebrating. There's nothing to celebrate. It is an act of defiance. Against who? Again, I don't know. I just don't know. She says, I was statistically the most attacked cast member of the entire show. You're going to provide evidence on that, are you? No, we're not going to get any of that again, even though that would go a long way in showing people how bad it truly was, which I just don't believe, because I have not seen any evidence for it whatsoever. But that's what happens. People just say things without providing anything for it. So she was the most attacked cast member on the show. In terms of, if you were to actually talk about characters, because that's what a lot of this come down to. People criticised the story and the characters had nothing to do with race. Nothing to do with it at all. And if you want to go that route with the most attacked character, that would probably be Galadriel, a white woman. So that doesn't bode well for your claims. Several cast members from the Rings of Power series have been vocal about the racist backlash they received upon joining the Tolkien universe. And now actress Sophia Nomvet, who plays Deezer, who was in the show for about 10 minutes, yet led the entire marketing campaign, it almost seems tactical, doesn't it? That she was the head of the marketing campaign, yet she was in the show for about 10 minutes throughout all 8 episodes. Is opening up in detail about what that experience was like. So basically what we're going to get is a load of bollocks. At the Hollywood Reporter's second annual Raising Our Voices luncheon, Nomvet took part in a conversation on the state of inclusion in storytelling. Because as we all know, that's the most important thing when it comes to storytelling is it inclusive enough? Is it diverse enough? It's not actually, is the story good? Are the characters well written? No, it's about, we got this type of person and that type. Yeah, I know, but the show's not good. So I don't really know why this is the conversation being had. But asked by Calderon Keller about the negative reaction, Nomvet, whose character is the first female dwarf of colour, nobody cares. I don't know why you keep... It's just embarrassing at this point that you have to keep saying that. In the Lord of the Rings universe, said her casting was a huge moment in the biggest flop in history, okay? Both personally and professionally, and I think I kind of skipped in naively, thinking that it's going to be great. I'm a dwarf, it's going to be such fun. When the announcement came out and pictures went up about just our faces of who we were playing, I was statistically the most attacked cast member of the entire show. What you mean is you were criticised on the basis that it didn't fit with Tolkien's lore, which isn't a racist thing. She says there were N-bombs. Can I see them? Can I see these tens of thousands of tweets and DMs of all these N-bombs? Then I'll trust you a bit, but I don't. I had no place here. You're too fat. I don't know why people would say that when you're playing a dwarf. So that doesn't quite make a lot of sense to me. You're too black. Why are you here? I had one that was actually very polite who said, I'm sure that you're a wonderful actress and a really lovely person. I don't think you should be a part of this. It's not right. So basically someone making a law argument that it didn't fit the law. Someone that cared deeply about the universe that Tolkien had created. So that's not racist, is it? If you could politely just send a letter to Amazon with your resignation, I'd be very grateful. I don't believe anyone said that. That doesn't come across like a normal person would say something like that. I thought, no, I'm not going to do that. I can't afford to resign for you because I ain't got any other fucking work. So sadly, I'm here to stay. Even as a family was threatened. Again, stop doing this. We need to see the receipts. We need to see the evidence if you want anyone to trust a word that you say. You are employed by a corporation. What trust does anyone have of them? None. Which, you know, is very hard to trust considering how we've seen this tactic multiple times where a terrible show gets put out and it just comes back to, oh, well, racist. You know, we've seen it so many times. That's why there's no believability here. But if you were to provide some type of evidence, people would go, yeah, okay then. But you haven't done that. That's what makes me just conclude, oh, you're talking horse shit. In deciding to remain on the Amazon series, I mean, I don't think you were considering leaving. I realised that my place in this show is not just a celebration. 37% of viewers finished. So nothing to celebrate. It is an act of defiance against a reality that is simply not true. Which is that we have no place on screens or in fantasy spaces. Do I have to pull up House of the Dragon again? We went over this with Ismael Cruz Cordova. House of the Dragon came out at the same time, had black people in a fantasy show. When did we see HBO? When did we see the actors come out and say, look at all these racist people? They don't like our show because we've got black people in a... We didn't see any of that because there wasn't any of that. So you can't use this argument. Just stop it. Just stop. That's all I can say, because it's just so fucking total horseshit. When we've got House of the Dragon right there, it came out at the exact same time as your show. Yet there was none of this. That look at all these racists. Look at all this racist backlash against the show. So that's why what you're saying is complete bullshit. She said, adding that one day she got a message that paralyzed her to the extent of being unable to leave her bed. They make it even less believable when they over-exaggerate so I was unable to leave my bed because of a negative comment. Are you an adult or a child? That's the only question I can come up with, but it just sounds so over-exaggerated. The following day, her husband sent her a photo of their daughter pointing to non-vet's face on a billboard in London. I realised that for her and for the future of our industry, I mean, your industry is a cesspit. It's just a cesspit. And the generation, it is a must that I stand in my power. So what normal person says something like that? It is a must that I stand in my power. That's why I say she's the biggest narcissist on the show. It's very similar to the stuff that she's been saying throughout the entire existence of the show. Is I'm standing in my power. I have power. You sound crazy. You really sound crazy. It's not what normal people say. It's like me doing a video and, going, oh, I stand in my power. People go, what the fuck are you on? Am I light and do as much as I can with this character? You were in the show for 10 minutes. And so I marched to the showrunners. I wouldn't bother doing that. They are very incompetent. Marching to them is absolutely pointless. And I begged them to make this moment matter. Well, it didn't. It didn't matter. They didn't make it matter because you were in it for 10 minutes. I begged them not to make her subservient or just the wife or the funny fat friend. I begged them to make her quite a sexual titan. A sexual titan. She noted that her character gets an on-screen kiss. Wow, you're doing great things. You kissed someone, did you? We get a lot of character out of that. Someone just kissing someone. Wears the least clothing. I know that was pretty embarrassing. Try not to do it in season 2. It's not a good look. And has her own drive and ambition. I don't really think you did. I guess your ambition was, I'm going to make my husband turn against his father and dethrone him. So, you're not you don't come across like a good person. But drive and ambition, you were in it for 10 minutes, so, I don't really know. Did you have drive? I don't know how you get all that out in 10 minutes, especially with the writers that you were given. I went through the 7 stages of grief. Just fuck off. The amount of insane things just being stated here. By reading some of the comments and then understood the assignment. I understood the assignment, and that was to help people understand. Well, no, your assignment was read these shit lines we wrote for you to say. That's all your assignment was. And to embrace them and love them. You would never disregard a child if they were scared. They're scared. They're frightened because they haven't seen us before. So we're scared of black people existing in movies, TV, even though it's existed for a very long time. Very long time. Ever since I've been watching movies, I've always seen people with all different ethnicities in them. So it's not a new thing. But again, it's always the same from these activist types. We must revise history in order to make it seem that what we're doing is important because we are big narcissists. That's the only reason for it. But yeah, apparently we're frightened because we just haven't seen this before. We have not seen it before. I really don't know how someone spouts this shit without realizing what they're actually saying. So in that moment and throughout this show, I've made it my mission to ease their fear. No one's scared of you. And to let them understand and to help educate them that it's okay. Yeah, I'm pretty sure most people are on board with it being okay. You fail to see the issue that people were taking with it. It's this idea that people become fans of stuff, and when this thing that they're a fan of gets adapted on screen, they want it to be as close as possible to what was described. Because that's what they want to see. They want to see it visually. So that's why people take issue with the way that they done it. So that doesn't equal racism. That we can tell a story, that we can be here, and the show will be better for it. Well, you didn't prove that, did you? I've been sitting waiting for many years of this idea of things having to go out of their way to be diverse and inclusive, like making the show better. That just has not been proven yet. Because it's not something that can be proven. It's not something that needs to be proven. Because it's not important. That our industry and our world will be better for it. I mean, again, your industry is a cesspit. So I would recommend sort out your own backyard first before you go yelling at other people. Before you go, oh, we're going to make the world a better place. Pretty hard to do when your entire industry is a cesspit. Pretty hard to do. But yeah, that's apparently her conclusion, which really just, it makes her seem really dim. Really dumb. That her conclusion is, well, people are scared of black people because they haven't seen them in TV or movies before. That's the conclusion someone that is very stupid comes to. They just fail. Again, it's the entire, I must be a victim. That's really how it comes across. And also, I'm a narcissist because I think I'm changing the world. When it's like, you're not. Your show was bad. Only 37% of viewers finished Amazon's The Rings of Power. So any change to the world this would have made is entirely gone. It's entirely gone. So you're not changing the world. But that's her conclusion. We're just scared. We're scared. We're scared, guys. We're just scared of it. We've never seen it before. Just absolute more insanity from Sophie and Omvet, which I'm really not surprised by, because this is the same type of stuff she was saying during the first marketing campaign for Season 1. But I just find it funny that last week, Ismael Cruz Cordova was banging on about racist backlash, about an on-set therapist. The week after, we have Sophie and Omvet talking about my place in this show as a celebration. So I'm pretty sure next week we're going to have Morphy Clark talking about, fighting sexism in fantasy.